Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Miss Southern Shell, and we got a special guest today. Shell, who we got here with us?
Justin Weatherly.
Justin and, man, I guess you knew Rachelle first, and that's how I met you, but it's probably been going on 20 years, so we've known each other a long time. Excited to have you in. The reason, I guess, my premise was I wanted Justin to come on here just because I like to talk and hang out. But everybody knows we did our fantasy deal last weekend, and Justin, I've been in the league with Justin most of the time since I've known you, so that's what we're going to talk about today, what all went on in our draft.
And he was also OG Killer Hogs. So.
That's right. So he's got the barbecue roots too.
And the fantasy league champion.
See, you got it.
That's right.
That's some good accolades, man. You are the defending ribs and whiskey champion. So hopefully you're going to give me some advice on what to do this year. I didn't do bad. I came in fourth last year. That's pretty good for me. Yeah.
I thought you had a crappy team. You were struggling.
I made some moves. My problem is season management. I get caught up. But so before we normally normally talk about what I did the week before. That's how we start our podcast off.
Real quick, Tuesday you're going to be on Greg Grimpy.
Before we get going further, y'all check out the Barbecue Central show Tuesday nights. I'll be on the first segment. It's 8:00 Central. I always like talking to Greg, and that's kind of like my monthly thing. The first Tuesday of every month, I go on Greg's show, so y'all check it out.
Barbecue
He's got a good
Central,
one.
Streams
it live on Facebook. You can find it at BBQCentralShow.com and probably on YouTube too. I imagine Greg, he gets it out there.
All right.
So what are we talking about, Shell? The recipe?
Yeah, first we'll talk about the spicy chicken sliders recipe you did this week.
So Labor Day this weekend, we got a long weekend break. Football season kicks off. We had first college games. Well, no, actually, it kicked off last weekend. Right. But officially, I think, this is the first weekend. So I wanted to do a recipe, easy on the grill. It's great for a crowd. Came up with barbecue chicken sliders. Now we do, I know you probably get the Costco rotisserie chickens or, from Kroger or anywhere, but this is kind of my take on that on the grill. And what I did was I seasoned them with my hot rub. I was going for not a buffalo flavor, but I wanted them spicy. So making little sliders with them, topping it with a white barbecue sauce, little pickles, little pickled red onion. Simple, but the whole thing was just about cooking those chickens. It ain't nothing to do. That's a really good recipe. I thought it turned out great.
It's kind of a recipe you can do for football food and Labor Day.
It's a crossover.
Yeah.
It's not a crossover. It's just a double duty recipe.
Yeah.
And they're great little sandwiches.
They were delicious. So you got 2 whole chickens.
2 whole chickens from Kroger.
Yeah. They were pretty big.
Everybody said they look like mini turkeys. I don't know. They were like 5 pounds. They don't have giant chickens at Kroger. It wasn't like they were the expensive chickens or something.
Cornish game turkey.
Yeah, that's what it was, a Cornish turkey. Baby turkey. Maybe they just had these chickens pumped up for the steroids or something. But they had a lot of meat. It's pumped up for football.
They must be a SEC turkey.
Yeah, that's right. They're SEC lineman turkeys or chickens.
They were great. Your little sandwiches was really good. The video quality in that video.
You didn't like it, did you?
The sound quality. Oh, it was terrible. I need it to be just perfect.
I'm going to tell you why the sound quality is messed up. You dropped the dang microphone twice on Saturday. You were trying to film. So when I was cooking all the food for the fantasy football party, Shell's like, we're going to do some video. We wanted to do some video. She's got some kind of.
I got one of those videos.
Did you get that one too?
Yes.
Did I send it to you or did somebody forward it to you?
What video is it?
It was Friday night while we were prepping and getting things ready, and you broke out the whiskey first because he's like, well, it's Friday.
You were cooking ribs.
Yeah, my back was hurt.
Yeah, that was it. It was a whiskey. To me,
it's Friday night.
So to me, the fantasy football draft is all about the pre-party, man. It's like I start, man, because I'm cooking everything.
Who does mock drafts?
Yeah,
Malcom pre-parties.
I didn't even. That's what Roos told me. He did like 50 mock or 150 mock drafts. I said, man, I tried to do one, I didn't make it. I was like, second pick goes wrong. I'm like, screw it. I don't know. I'm just going to take who I get. I got the little program you turned me on to. How many years, man? It had to be 2012, maybe. You told me about that Football Guys app, and I downloaded it. I've been using that for the past 6-7 years.
I think I've been using it since 2002, 2003.
Really? Have you? So you was early.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an early adapter.
Yeah.
I've won 3 championships with it. So
Well,
I think I can come up with $30 a year.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Yeah, heck yeah. So I just use the draft dominator mainly, but they send out good emails too.
Yeah, absolutely. Their in-season management posts are helpful,
Yeah,
but the draft dominators,
That's what.
way better than a spreadsheet in a magazine.
So was you happy with your draft?
Yeah, I think I got a B grade from Yahoo.
That's what I had.
Had another
That's good for me, man. If I'm not a D.
Right, yeah. I'm also not great with in-season management.
Life gets in the way now.
Yeah.
And that.
That's my thing. Nobody really trades in our league. And then you can't, they're trying something new this year with the waiver wire. We've always had like a non-waiver wire. It's just, you got to watch the games pick up real fast, and that screws me because I don't have time to sit down and
we're not watching all the games, but also that will keep the people that are just sitting on it all day, just click, drop ads. That's going to hold them back. So it should level it out for the rest of us.
I'm excited about that part of it. So maybe at least I'll have a shot to get somebody.
Yeah, you won it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I've won it before. Yeah, I finished first 1 year, second 1 year. So I've lucked in there a time or two.
we started the league in 2001, and there's several people in this 12-man league that have never won it. So
I think I'll take it easy on me because I cook the barbecue.
I don't, but they do.
Well, used to, when I first got involved, it was always the way y'all did it. We had a trophy that went around, and the draft would be hosted at whoever was the champion that year.
Yeah.
And so I think the first year that I went, it was at your house because you were the champion way back then.
Yep.
And that was the first one I did. And did we even have food?
Yeah.
I remember we had a keg of beer. That was the whole thing. You always had a keg of beer.
We had a keg because the draft was on Sunday.
Right.
I was cooking in Columbus on Saturday, got first and shoulder, and
that's what you
brought
served.
it back. Vacuum sealed it, warmed it up, and everybody got to eat some first place Columbus, Mississippi short.
It seems like I do remember that. The crazy thing about the drafts back then would take an all day. It was an all day deal because we'd draft around and everybody go outside. Remember smoke breaks and drink breaks and all that.
There's a direct correlation to how long a draft takes to how many smokers are in the
And back then it seemed like everybody was smoking cigarettes back
6
then.
hours.
It should have been like ribs, whiskey, and cigarettes.
Ribs and camels.
But now you don't see anybody smoking cigarettes. So our drafts, heck, we were done in an hour and a half this time. I don't even think it took.
It was a little longer than that.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
We spent more time eating and hanging out. Plugging up the laptops.
I think that's because y'all are getting older too.
All that, but I mean,
y'all are old men now.
Everybody, the draft is the best part about the season.
Yeah,
it's football season's coming, so you're getting fired up.
Right,
you get to see your old buddies, and it's a party. And the first couple were like legit. Parties.
No,
and like people were leaving to come back. Can't even say what they're leaving to do. People were passing out.
It was good. It was a good draft, huh?
Yeah,
that was wild.
Keg stands between rounds.
So it was kind of like a last man standing type draft. You could pick up some good values in those late rounds if you could just hang in there.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't about the food at all. It was all about.
I'm gonna tell you, I got scared bad my first draft. I remember that. This is what I remember from first. I couldn't tell you what players I got, but I'd brought a bottle of whiskey over. So you had the keg of beer, and I was drinking whiskey, chasing. I think it was Jim Beam, chasing with Sprite. And I was leaving your house, and I thought I knew the way back. I was going to take a shortcut. So I go up to this neighborhood, and I see.
We lived like
it wasn't far.
Yeah,
I don't even know
like
why.
In one neighborhood apart.
I don't know why I didn't go the normal way. I guess I was trying to avoid traffic or whatever. I shouldn't have been driving. I really should. This is
pre-Uber.
Yeah, this is pre-Uber. Okay. And so I take this left-hand turn thinking I'm just get to the neighborhood, and it's like an alley. It starts closing in on me. There's like a privacy fence on one side, and I'm like, I don't know where this is going. So I'm in my Dodge full-size pickup truck. I've got an Austin Powers turn it back out of there. Done drink a bottle of whiskey, don't have any draft beers. I back over this dude's fence, and I'm like, oh, crap, I got to get out of here.
Oh,
so I turn it around, and here come the people running out, and oh, man. And so I didn't know what to do. I just jumped out of my truck. man, I'm sorry. And the dude begins to start cussing at me and all that good stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm paying for your fence. I know. I don't even know where I'm trying to get home. And he's like, please don't call the cops on me. And so I gave the dude my business card. And I was like, I'll take care of this tomorrow. I mean, this was my first draft. I was like, man, I really did the draft up. I made it back home, which was only about 2 blocks. I mean, it wasn't like I could have walked
3 to 4 minutes away, straight down one street.
Yes.
At the most, it was like one turn. If I would have went,
you could have ride a bike, or a
but
scooter.
my truck was parked the wrong way, and so I just kept driving.
That's why.
If it would have been pointed the other way. So now, if you're doing the draft and don't drive, take Uber. That should be, or get your wife to drive. But at least point your vehicle in the right way back home.
Go ahead and point in the right direction.
That was a bad one, man. That could have been. I don't condone drinking and driving. I try never to do it.
It's not funny at all.
When I was younger, when I was younger, I thought I could go anywhere.
Don't take the shortcut behind
Don't
somebody's house.
Don't take an alley.
Not a street.
Yeah.
Did you fix the guy's fence?
Yeah, heck yeah, I did. I gave him. I mean, I just went over and gave him some cash. Here you go, man. I apologize bad.
I guarantee this fence is still.
It probably is. I mean, no, when I say it knocked the fence down, I think the hitch knocked out 2 or 3 boards out of it.
Yeah.
But he probably thought somebody was coming through it. I mean, it wasn't like I was hammered down the accelerator. I was trying to. I didn't have any room to work. You ever seen Austin Powers where he's trying to turn that golf cart around? That's what I was like in my truck.
You never told me this.
This
story.
was way before cameras or backup, signals and all that. I never told you that. I wasn't white as a ghost when I got home that night.
This had to be like 2008, 9.
It was a long time ago, man. It was a long time ago. It seems like it was a long time ago.
Well,
that's my memorable first draft in Ribs and Whiskey. I did it right, and I hadn't looked back. Still treat the draft that way. I just don't drive.
That's why we have it at your house.
That's why we have it at my house. But that leads me up to the Friday. The pre-party gets rough. The past few drafts, I'm like, oh, I'm not drinking this draft. I have so much fun the night before. That's
he gets too excited.
I do. I get so excited.
It's Christmas Eve. Man.
Yeah.
And so this time, my whole thing, that was what I want to talk about before we get into drafting and all that, I guess, was the food that we cook. We've always done good stuff.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
I want to introduce Justin.
Okay.
Justin, you're part of the fantasy football team where we talked about, but you also were a barbecue cook. Yeah, you cooked with Killer Hogs back in the day. You went and started your own team.
A lot of
success. World
success.
champion shoulder cook.
Second place.
Yeah.
At Memphis in May.
Yeah, at Memphis in May. Yeah. So, I mean, you're
multiple grand champions out there.
Yeah.
A lot of Killer Hogs trophies. I met Justin before I met you, really, because you used to cook with Ed Moore on, was it Psychotic Friends Network? Yep. And that was who you used to cook with, and kind of got your foothold in the door. And I guess
you came up the same way Malcom did, just going to Springfest and cooking at Springfest.
South Haven Springfest, and teenager hanging out, and then like, hey, I'm too old to ride rides, too cool for that.
That's good fun.
All the beer are in these barbecue tents.
Yeah,
so I got to figure out how to do that. And it just
got into barbecue
from there, and met you. Yeah, I think we rode the bus together, like in elementary school.
We grew up around the corner from each other.
I'd stay at my grandmother's house.
Yeah,
that's
same
mom's neighborhood.
Right, so. And we're both Greenbrook Gator alums. Greenbrook Elementary, South Haven Charger alums, probably Northwest Ranger. I mean, we go way.
Well, I didn't finish.
Hey, you paid money, you're an alum. But yeah, we go way back, being from South Haven, and it was barbecue rich where we were. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like everybody, knew a team or had an affiliate to the team, and South Haven Springfest was the thing to do. Yeah. So it was kind of natural for us to get into competition barbecue.
Absolutely.
And I mean, we always cook. You always cooked at home. I mean, I remember, whenever we got together, whenever we'd have a smoker going, and we may not eat the food, but we were cooking something. Somebody was eating it.
Yeah. By the time it's done, we're drinking. Yeah, smelled it all day. We're not hungry, but
that's right. So for us, it was social.
Yep, absolutely.
That was kind of what it was, and we just kind of translated that into the competition cooking passion. Mm-hmm. and worked on it a lot. And there were some times where me and Waylon and you and your wife Nicole, we would go and do contests, just us four, and you would come when you could. And I mean, this was like early days.
Yeah, there was a lot of times when the four of y'all, you, Waylon, Nicole, and Justin, would do road trips. Y'all were road dogs.
We've got some horror stories cooking in Butler, Alabama. Remember how hot it was? Most miserable place on earth.
Right, let me tell you guys a story here. You can tell the storm story from the night before. So after that, it's Alabama. Okay, enough said. It was hot as hell.
June?
In the summer.
Was it June or July?
Yeah, June or July. So it stormed the night before, and Waylon and Nicole almost got electrocuted. But I'll let Malcom tell that story. Yeah. So we're breaking down the next day. Or were we setting up? I think we were breaking down.
Yeah.
And Malcolm's like, man, I'm hot. And it was miserable that day. So there's this little tobacco store, like right at the entrance of the park. It was like 20 feet from where we set up our tent. And so he walked over there and bought a bag of ice and went in Waylon's truck and cranked it up with the AC because, it was miserable.
Over 100 degrees,
yeah. And about 10 minutes later, I walked past, loading the car, look in the front door, and Malcolm's holding a flat bag of ice. He was bear hugging it, and it had melted in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Were you just soaking wet?
Yes.
Yeah, but it evaporated quick. I was about heat stroke.
It was bad. And we've been through some miserable weather, but I never forget Malcom bear hugging a 20-pound bag of ice.
Well, the night before, tornadoes came through.
Yeah.
And that's where somehow you and Waylon ended up over at the courthourhouse. That's where they evacuated.
That was you and
But
Nicole.
me and Nicole stayed with the tent, and we had one of these garage shelter, 100-pole tents that you had to put together.
Early days. We had cheap stuff.
We didn't even have pop-ups back then.
No, we carried around pole tent. Put all these poles together, little sections,
took
build
an
it.
hour to put together.
We'd back our borrowed trailer, somebody's cargo trailer, up under there, and we'd run ratchet straps down to the tent. Well, when we got it was like, this is the middle of July. It's no rain in sight. We're not strapping this thing down. So all of a sudden we're out there cooking. We do the ancillary round, whatever we're doing. And then I don't know where you and Waylon were, how y'all ended up over there. They evacuated the place. They said tornadoes were coming, like spotted.
They were about to announce the ancillary awards.
Is that what it was?
That's why we went. And you guys were prepping or cooking some of the pork stuff. So we'd entered chicken and a couple of other things. Mm-hmm. And that's why we went to the courthouse to see that. But by the time we're walking there, they asked everybody to evacuate to the courthouse.
Yeah. So that was the safe place. Except for us. Well, and so we were going. Well, they told us to evacuate. I said, Nicole, I got to strap this tent down. Yeah. I mean, I had some ratchet straps, so we used the thing. So
you said lightning's coming, grab this metal.
No,
ball.
It wasn't. Now, it would. That part was crazy. But so we began, and Nicole said, instead of running, hey, give her a prop. She stayed and helped. We managed to get the straps, straps over there. And by the time we got those straps tightened up, it had hit. I mean, there was lightning and all that, but it was more wind and tornado. And so it was all me and her could do to hold on to these, tent straps and in this trailer, metal everywhere, lightning, tornadoes coming through town. And we're out there underneath it. It was wild. And then it blew out and calmed down. And so we, go over there and what are you guys doing? And Waylon's, he's scared to death of tornadoes. So he's freaking out. And I was like,
I comforted him.
Yeah. And Justin's like, did y'all bring some beer? And I was like, man, we just went through a tornado on this tent now. We're lucky to be alive.
Beer if I know I have to be in this building for 2 hours. Some other teams, they had,
devastated it.
Yeah, there's teams that had to drop out because, their small cougars got flipped over and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a serious storm.
I think that was the same contest where we met Rick Dalton with Guatney. Remember, he only had a few guys with him, and he taught us a little bit about. Absolutely. He let us see a good bit of what they did at Hog, and they were Memphis MMA champs at Hog that year.
They were rolling. During that time. And he had I can't remember his name now. The guy that the author that.
Yeah.
Who had what was that guy's name? I think I got the book in there.
We got a
mention in that book about And it was all because they needed help loading the hog, and they didn't have anybody to help them, so we got to go over there.
There's some young dudes over there.
Yeah, let's go do that. And that was they kind of took us on. And I'm still buddies with Rick to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a real good dude. He don't cook any barbecue. He does some steaks now, but he doesn't do many think Gwatney's kind of through.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about barbecue is, we did not know those guys from Adam. They're from Memphis and just happened to
be next door to them.
Butler, Alabama, and help them out. And it's the camaraderie thing, and that's it's because it's hard as heck. It's expensive.
Oh yeah,
the weather sucks. But it's those relationships and meeting people like that, and like we were young and like.
Yeah, didn't know anything.
Like that was really when we first started traveling.
Right.
It was really just like Springfest.
Yeah, or Lakeland Fun Fest or Tunica.
Right,
Those
were the super local ones.
Yep.
And then we meet this guy and he just throws us a bone like the 101.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, that's Rick Dalton. What? He just told us how to do that.
It was eye-opening. It really was.
Yeah. And then you realize, okay, all right, we're still going to have a good time, but it's not just a party. Like, got a little respect from this guy. And then, that builds into meeting, Berm and John David and Lambert and all those guys. And then it just, you help those guys out and show them that they're serious. And then, they're willing to teach you something.
Give you some advice.
And then we do the same to the younger guys and just give it back, pay it forward.
Exactly.
That's how that's kind of been our philosophy since we started doing this. We're just paying it back.
Yeah.
I mean, we were lucky enough to have some people give us some tutelage, some advice, got along the way. So
because you can. If you're figuring it out on your own, it's going to take a heck of a lot longer than it took us.
There wasn't YouTube videos on how to cook barbecue back then. There wasn't anything.
Not competition barbecue.
There wasn't, people weren't giving out secrets left and right. I mean, you didn't, there wasn't.
There weren't classes.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't.
There was, Southern Living and FoodNetwork.com.
Yeah, well, one of the books I remember early on, me and you got, the Barbecue Bible, was Steve Reichland.
Yeah.
And we went through that book, and when you would do recipes, and I'd work on some, and we'd share stuff. I mean, that was our resource back then.
And those are good starting points. But that'll cook a heck of a meal for your buddies. But a lot of that is
not going to translate.
No,
you only learn that out doing it. Absolutely. I mean, really do. And that's kind of what. That has been our experience. I mean, with all of the stuff we did, we tested it on judges live, live.
And you take that criticism, and you beg the judges to come back and talk to you, especially when you're young, because you don't know what you're doing wrong until somebody tells you what you're doing wrong, because it can look pretty.
Yeah.
But it's not what they're looking for. So you want to, because you can't, especially in NBN, you don't know what other people's blind boxes look like.
Right. Nobody's sharing those pictures. Nobody's putting those out there.
Especially not then.
A mound of chopped meat, that ain't going to cut.
Back then they'd have to take a picture, take it to Walgreens, get it developed. But that was back when NBN was really big. That was the thing to do, and that's what y'all were cooking.
Yep.
We were cooking it when it was still called the Memphis and May Network. Remember that before they switched?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't even NBN.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in fact, we were just a backyard team for a long way. I mean, you were with us on the 2006 when we won the patio division and turned pro. Mm-hmm. You were still cooking with us then.
Yeah, I think I cooked with you guys through 2009 or 10.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Man, those are some good years.
So are you?
That's where we learned it all. We learned how to survive. We might have honed it after that. But.
How to walk the line. Still have a good time. Take care of your sponsors. Do that so you can afford the entry fee to something like Memphis in May, but still turn out a product that'll get you a trophy. Because that's the hard part.
Well, you and I, we were the night guys. I mean, we were the guys that cooked the shoulders and did all that. Waylon came in, did the ribs, and we stayed with the hogs.
Because we have high alcohol tolerance.
That's all. We just had a better tolerance.
Iron livers.
That's what I was saying. That had more to do with the booze than it did the.
There's been many nights where me and Justin would have been out there just in some lawn chairs or sitting in the cab of a truck over in, where was that in Mississippi? Iuka, Mississippi. It was freezing cold. We're listening.
We listened to like a duck hunting show on AM radio or something. That's channel.
Coming out of Louisiana, it was like opening day of duck season. We were just trying to stay awake. We're putting it on something. Then surely they've got to do some sports talk here soon. It's like it was live from a duck blind somewhere in Louisiana, and we're listening to it. Waylon and Nicole then went back to the hotel, took showers, and we're sitting out there. It's been freezing. Man, that was miserable.
And then we go back home, and I think the next day I call, Malcom, man, I left my work laptop in that hotel room. And he's like, screw it.
Road trip. So we grabbed a case of beer and hit the road.
Right back up. You picked up a laptop and right back up.
Hey, it was a miracle they still had that.
Only because it was under the bed.
Yeah. I do remember that. We talked
about going to that fine establishment.
In Corinth. I was going to ask you what your favorite contest was. That was.
My favorite contest.
There's been some good ones, hasn't there?
It's hands down Columbus.
That's what I was going to say. And I told Rachelle, I bet he says Columbus.
Everyone.
I hate Columbus.
Everyone.
It.
There's almost it outdoes the one before.
Yeah.
Something insane happens to me every time.
And you win there.
I've never got worse than first place. I got my first grand there. My first.
Even when we were going, we were killing it there. You know,
we stayed out at a fine establishment all night. And got like 30 minutes sleep and got first place.
Come back. I think the judges must have liked the glitter there. The glitter in the box was the key.
That was the key. So we have a special rub we use in Columbus, and it does include glitter from adult establishments.
Shake joint rub. That's a good one to put some gold sparkles in it. Hey, I might steal that. That's my special edition.
It's pony glitter.
Yeah, that's pony glitter.
Smelling like strawberries and champagne.
That one. Maybe got 30 minutes sleep, and
we had
woke up in a panic and drove back, and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, that whole thing came from when we were young, starting out cooking. When our whole thing was win, lose, or draw, we were going to the closest fun place to go.
I thought it was if you lose. If you
was
win,
it if we lose?
Yeah, y'all made a deal that if we lose.
Oh, so is that why we ended up there a bunch? Because we knew we were going to lose?
Yeah. You're starting to sabatage yourselves.
So we just pulled our rig up and all. That was where everybody did. And that kind of started a trend there until we got older.
Yeah.
It was party times, man. What are you going to do?
They were parties.
Waylon used to scold us. Me and Malcom talked inside.
We already knew.
If Waylon's going to be like this and we can't drink,
we ain't cooking. That used to be our thing.
Like, got to do both.
there was a time in my life where I had that conversation with him. If I can't have a good time, enjoy myself while I'm out here, I'm not doing barbecue.
Because it's hard.
It is. It is hard.
And Waylon, he takes it very serious, but he's a serious dude. So that's just the difference. And you guys are polar opposites. But that yin yang makes the team.
Right.
But you got whatever your good time is. It doesn't have to be drinking or whatever. Maybe just sitting in a lawn chair, listening to the radio and smelling the smoke. But you don't do it.
You gotta enjoy it.
You don't do it because you like to work hard and smell like charcoal.
Take years off your life. You like punishment. Yeah, you're into that kind of torture.
You love the camaraderie. You love obviously cooking, but you got to also find your stand while you're there because it ain't easy.
No, it's not, and that's what a lot of people don't see. Even judges, they don't see the hard work that goes into what's turned into the contest like that. I mean, that's what's crazy. We've spent, not even just at the contest, think of all the hours you spend the week before leading up, just getting everything together. And
making your sauces and your rubs and running to the store 18 times. And
keeping the equipment clean. I mean, it's everything. Oh, yeah.
Like you go to the store 4 times because you forgot something.
Yeah. I mean, all that.
Scrubbing coolers on Wednesday night.
It's not roll in Friday and
we're going to light a fire and cook this and turn it in. It's all,
Especially back in those days when we were doing the Memphis MA or the MBN, you had to set up and present. You had to have tables and tablecloths.
We were hauling fake trees all over the country with us. I mean, you remember those ficus plants?
Changed houses between us a couple times too. And then all the extra meat you have to cook for the on site. That is a massive investment. Where that's why KCBS is
good
bigger
because
you can spend a couple $100 instead of $1,000 for a contest and hope you place in the top 2 to break even. A smaller one just to break even.
We were on a podcast here recently. And a guy, he asked us how many people we thought were making a living off of just competition barbecue. I said, man, I don't know anybody. Do you know anybody That's all they solely do.
The biggest people, you know.
Yeah, they all of them got a side hustle. I mean, our main hustle. Barbecue's a side hustle.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, like doing what you guys are doing, selling your sauces and rubs and, the videos and advertisements and classes. You can't live a life.
That's true.
Like straight cook it. And the only person I know that did it for a minute was Melissa.
Pete and Melissa.
Yeah, before they launched their restaurant, and they did that for about 2 years, just to cook everywhere to dominate Memphis and May, and that built an empire.
Yeah,
right.
But I imagine.
She said it was pretty lean back in those days.
I'm just guessing it has to be. I wouldn't want to live that
life. There was times when they were cooking contest to contest, and when they show up, Melissa told me they had to win. It was like, we're going to pay our bills this week. We got to win this week. Yeah. That's a whole different level of dedication.
Yeah.
I don't want that pressure on me.
You talk about.
You take the fun out of it quick.
Right.
And you've seen times cooked against them and beat them, or somebody like that, and where it's.
And they're pissed.
And because I mean, that's
different. Like we're like, woohoo, we won.
Let's drink.
Let's got their money. They're trying to pay the water bill.
Yeah, that's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a life I'd want to live.
And barbecue's not like NASCAR or anything like that. You don't have $1 million sponsorships. Nobody's passing any big sponsorships out. I know very few teams that have gotten some
monetarily huge.
Yeah, monetarily huge sponsorships.
There's a few, but not as few and far between. People don't get their worth on it. I don't think.
A lot of, some of the guys will get like free gear and stuff like that. Or you'll get your sponsorship for like Memphis and May.
Right.
But just a year long.
Here's your
$1 million contract. No, they don't exist. Yeah.
There's something
that would be the way to do it. But then you'll see, all you guys, with your Sting Kill,
right?
Ford, AutoZone match.
It'll turn into that.
But it looked like European soccer uniforms. But hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like fishing, those fishing shirts. Yeah.
And it's funny. KCBS has gone that way a little bit because it's more about the money now. People, it's so serious. And I mean, the sponsorship money's not in there 100%. Like, there's not fully funded people that I know of. I mean, there's some, but still people are showing up with these $100,000 rigs and everybody's inside and it's all, it's not fun. It's taking the fun out of it. And I think that's why, I'm trying to get you out to one of these SCA state contests. They're like the old school ones where it's like a tailgate. We're just turning in a state.
Well, right. And you're not investing
thousands of dollars
and 48 straight hours.
Right.
A full day setup, and then prep, then start cooking,
and then clean it,
turn it in, and then sit down for 5 seconds, and then clean up and leave.
And think about the next one. Yeah, no, it's not like that at all. It's just
we can prep for a state contest in under an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
You
the
need
Friday before.
Pop-up and some lawn chairs
and a grill.
And your PK and
yeah.
That's it.
That was a question. Are you retired? Are you semi-retired from competition?
You're coming out of retirement? I'm trying to talk you out of retirement.
Every time we hang out, I get fired up. And I moved back to town.
That's right.
I lived about an hour away, so I just moved back a couple of weeks. So now, once again, I'm about 10 minutes from Malcom. So we'll see next time he comes over if he takes the correct way home.
I'll have a driver. Yeah. Here, there, I won't have anything.
The main reason I dropped out is, you got in big into the KCBS stuff. You're doing some NBN events, and that's certainly Memphis in May. I never really got big into KCBS, and the state contests were
they didn't exist.
They were minimal,
yeah.
And if they did exist, they certainly weren't in the Memphis area.
Right.
As a matter of fact, real quick, years ago, I remember there used to be one at Southland.
Yeah.
And me and Waylon I think you guys did it once, but we were talking, we should do that. That's easy. Like, you go out there, they give you the steak.
You see that one up there and the one below, the very bottom one, I won that one twice. I don't know if you were, I know you weren't with us on any of those.
But I mean, we were talking about that.
It was huge. Those were huge.
A long time ago.
Yeah. They've been doing it for a while.
And when we said, we'll do that. And I think you guys did it once, like, back when I was cooking with you guys,
yeah,
the two of you went out there, and we were like, dude, they give you the steak?
Yeah.
You know how long it takes to cook a ribeye? Like,
that was it.
It's a whole new world, yeah.
Like, Free World was probably playing.
Damn, I missed that. But, like, that's what I'm talking about, because NBN when I dropped out, was still doing all the on-site for the prelim rounds. So I'm cooking at least 3 whole pork shoulders for a blind box. Then I'm cooking 3 for on-site prelims, and then I'll have 2 left for finals.
Yeah. That's just shoulder.
Just shoulder.
That's not talking about the rib or the hog.
I'm cooking.
And that's just one
times
category.
20 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
One category. And maybe 3 pounds of it gets eaten by judges.
What did y'all do? Did y'all save it from FSMA and stuff or give it away?
We would vacuum seal it, and for catering gigs, give it to teammates, make tamales with them later.
Whatever.
Especially like Springfest, we would vacuum seal it and save that to serve at FSMA, the bigger, longer contests. Mm-hmm. But then,
feed sponsors.
Ribs, not so bad just because they cook faster, but they're still expensive.
You're still cooking a case of ribs too. That's 15 to 18 slabs.
Then you get into a hog, and it's just like you're buying a whole hog to feed, a blind box, a little clamshell, and then 3 judges, and then 4 more. If you're lucky, 4 more, and you got this giant
150-pound hog. You've got 75, 80 pounds of meat.
And then you get to break it down.
And clean it up, and then clean the pit.
That's you don't see many hog cooks anymore, man. There may be in the NBN. I bet you there's
a dozen.
If there's 15 or 16 active. I mean, there's going to be some contest.
That's not at a contest. Normally, it's 3 to 4 at a contest.
Right. Yeah, the reason they do it is because there's only going to be 3 or 4 at a contest. Yeah. You got a shot at some money.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's all that changed right after I stopped. So they, now you're just getting the
first round's blind,
right? And
you still got to cook that whole hog, which is why.
But like the shoulder count and stuff like that.
Then you can use butts. You can use butts instead of whole shoulders now. Yeah.
Okay, so stuff like that makes it more affordable because
those were good changes. It saved the NBN. Yeah. I mean, they're still doing. There's contests they're still happening. They're still drawing pretty good because of those changes.
Yeah, it was impossible for teams that were not good, that were not winning, and like breaking even really, to stay pro. So it was really hard for those backyard teams or patio teams to move up unless you had a sponsorship. Because you're out there, you go pro, and you're out there just straight losing money because you have to buy. I mean, a small contest, spend $1,000
easy,
right?
And then level of work will break you down.
Right,
level of work in an NBN contest will just break you down.
So now that they made those changes, that's intriguing. But KCBS and certainly the state contest stuff would reel me back in because it's I've got a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
I was living an hour away, and like these are like tailgate parties, and always a spot for a kid that wants to hang around.
Right. Well, that's our thing too. We try to get Michael involved as much as possible.
Right.
Our parties aren't parties anymore.
Right, yeah.
If you have a few drinks now, that's it.
But it's definitely the changes that have been made is definitely intriguing, and plus kids a little bit older. I think I stopped cooking in 2013 or 14 in contests, but
you have to get Dylan involved, man. Get him out there cooking
in my backyard.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, hey, the Hernando contest is coming up. You cooked that one with us back in the day, right? Yeah. I hadn't cooked it. Man, how many years? It's probably been since you were cooking. It's probably been 6 years since I've cooked it. But that was one that we cut our teeth on too, and it's a non-sanctioned contest. Same thing. They're doing all the categories. They're adding steak, but like their own version of steak.
He's still cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every year.
And those guys.
Yeah.
He's got a new team. I can't remember his team name. But we're
Dirty Pirate Cookers.
Is that what it is? A Dirty Pirate Cookers?
That's his trivia name.
Yeah. I think that's what they're
Pirate Cookers.
Yeah,
but I think they're the cookers for the barbecue. So I've got some buddies that are putting one. They're trying to talk, or I guess they've talked me into doing it. We're going to be post Oak Malone. You need to come out there and hang out with us. It's going to be like a super team. We're just all going to take a category and post Oak Malone. That's it.
And that's another thing. We've got to the point where we don't even like the professional contests. We just we look for the things that we can go have fun at. Take Michael, hang out, listen to a little music, hang out with some friends, that kind of thing.
Dylan does enjoy cooking, so like especially when I'm prepping, so like put the mustard and the rub on.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to show him don't get the rub. 2 inches from
you gotta elevate it, man. You gotta get that layering effect on.
And kind of just going over the process of like, okay, this is when you'll baste every hour. You'll check the internal temp, and then we'll wrap, and then we're gonna unwrap and glaze and high level stuff. But he loves like the prep stuff.
Yeah.
But what he loves even more, I want to give you guys props for doing this because it's going to bring in the next generation. He just thinks it's so cool that his friend Michael is in these YouTube videos not cooking, and there's other kids that don't know Michael that are seeing that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like,
I can do it.
I can cook.
Right.
You got all these cooking shows and stuff too, and whatever.
The kids are into YouTube, man.
The kids are amazed by the YouTube thing.
Yeah, right. Like Hell's Kitchen Kids or whatever. Like, that's reality TV. But this is some dude on YouTube. In his backyard cooking, and it looks cool. I want to try that.
I get more kids coming up to me now and asking questions about like serious YouTube type questions, like how'd you get started? How'd you get your channel to grow? They're not asking me about barbecue. They're just wanting to know the ins and out of the YouTube game. And I mean, there's a lot of them that are into barbecue too, and they recognize you from it. But man, they're so sharp. And then it's a big thing for somebody. And a lot of these organizations do great with kids cook. SCA is one that does. Does KCBS have a kids? I think they do.
Springfest.
Yeah, Springfest has always had a big one. But there's a lot of contests that do a kids thing, and I got Michael doing those. But man, he got to where he wants to cook the steak. So you got to be 16 to officially enter. And so I have to sign up now and then let him do it. And he can, he's been doing that for me for probably the past 5 or 6 contests. And he's finished in the top 10 3 times. He's gotten the money 3 times. I was like beating grown men.
What's he doing tonight?
He can cook a steak, man. He goes to my parents and my dad fires the grill up. They just turn him loose. And Michael's a ribeye cooking machine. He knows. He studied it and figured it out.
The first few times didn't go that well,
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're only 9, so
Yep.
Well, I wanted to bring it back around to football foods.
Man, that's something we do good.
I
know. Really, I think that's how I got into it.
Exactly.
Right, so like football season, you start drinking really early. You should eat so you can keep drinking, and barbecue goes with football, and then I realized barbecue contests happen when it's not football season, so it's another excuse to keep drinking early. That's how we met.
That's it. But long story short,
barbecue and football.
Turns out y'all got a lot in common.
That is,
they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
we something Justin always cooked that I remember is pork loin.
Yeah, I have that on my list.
Do you really? Yeah. But that was what we used to always have. I guess because they were cheap. You could go to
have a house full of people.
You could go to Sam's and buy one that's 3 foot long, and you could split it up. I remember doing that. We'd split them up, and then we'd try different injections or brines or whatever.
Cut it in half, stuff 1/2 with banana pepper.
Yeah, we did all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
And then you slice it up and have it, and then we were in college back then, and then you have leftovers for lunch.
Yeah. What were we doing? We were at Rochelle's house, and we were. Was it a football game?
I thought it was.
Was it Super Bowl?
It was a big football game.
Yeah. We had a backwoods. I had my backwoods party. Now this was a cooker. That was the first smoker that me and Waylon actually bought. It was the old party model with the magnet doors.
Yeah, it did not have the latches.
Yeah, it did not have the latches. You could just, the doors just kind of held together. And me and Justin, we got over there, I'm sure, early that day. Put some, it was pork. I think we were cooking pork loin that day.
We had several different things.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 2 pork loins or we cut it in half, but it was definitely on 2 racks.
Yeah.
It was the Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl.
That's right.
I got a Tom Brady autographed football from that Super Bowl.
How long? What year was that? Do you remember?
2003.
Wow.
Donovan McNabb's yakking on the sideline. So it's some point during the game, like first, second quarter, and everything's about we were finishing it, and I go outside to check on it.
Well, Shell had a lab, like full-grown lab. This dude was a beast.
No, of course.
Yeah. And he had laid there and watched us all day.
I promise you, his head's like above the table.
He was the biggest lab ever, yeah.
And so he looked more like a Chesapeake, but he was a lab.
But he was like Eeyore. He just kind of like moped around and didn't do much.
And he had laid there and watched us all day. Open that cooker, baste the meat, whatever we were doing.
It's the quiet.
The whole day. Yeah. And then you go back to Checo.
I guess it was the first time that everybody was inside watching football.
Yeah, because the game was on. We had been outside, hanging out and watching the grill or the smoker. I walk out there to check on it because things should be about wrapped up, and the door's open. I'm like, what the? Look in there, and one of the loins is missing.
It's gone.
And this horse is in the corner of the yard, and she's just like destroying something. And I was like,
that dog wasn't right for a week after
I'm
that.
Talking, I can't remember
Do you
this.
know how hot that thing was? It's 200.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the smoker was probably rolling at 250.
Yeah.
It was finishing. So
Yeah, it was 150 probably.
And if it wasn't the whole loin, it was still half a one, and I'm talking, he scarfed it.
It was still probably 3 or 4 pounds of just solid pork. Yeah, minimum.
We always overcooked, so we had plenty. We did not starve, but Bob ate well that night. Man.
And he was just licking his
I don't know
chops.
what your backyard's look like after
He didn't come in the house. That's not a house dog at that point. He had to stay out there for a week.
Bob ruined the Super Bowl.
I didn't ruin it. I think it was still a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We always
Plenty,
way too much.
yeah.
I remember you coming running back in and going, Bob ate the pork loin. Bob ate the pork loin.
Probably went, a little more, a few more adjectives than that.
Yeah. I kept it clean. But you're the reason that I actually fell in love with smoked hot wings. Because you used to, would you grill them or smoke them? But you cooked them a lot.
Yeah, I grilled them. I just, throw a lot of wood on the grill. I just think I'm not a big fan of smoking hot wings on a smoker.
You need that higher temp, don't you? Get the skin right.
Exactly.
That's busted.
So I would just, I'd do it on like a Weber and throw chunks of wood on it, and
they're always really good. I always looked forward to your hot wings.
And I fell in love with them at Central Barbecue.
Yes.
And they got some. That's what I get when I go there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got a bunch of different flavors. Have you been there lately?
No, I haven't.
They got different flavors now. Like, you can get jerk wings at Central. It used to be, it was just heavy seasoned,
right? Yep.
Real paprika. They were awesome.
I would do that, and then I would get a pulled pork sandwich, and I'd put their mustard.
Yeah, warm mustard sauce.
You don't get that a lot in Memphis.
That's right.
Change the pace.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like their vinegar.
And then sometimes I would dip the wings in
the
mustard sauce. But that's where I fell in love with it. So I just try to.
What were you using?
And tweak it.
Were you buying their seasoning back then, or did you make your own up?
No, I was using whatever, or back then using
what we were making. Yeah. Because we always had bags of just rubs we make. We weren't bottled back then. We were just we made it by the Ziploc bag. We make 2 or 3 pounds at a time.
Probably used number 5 on them.
Yeah. An old number 5.
Choked on it. So dang salty.
What's your favorite dish for watching football, Malcolm?
Man, I'm a wing guy too. I don't want to say wings, but we just talked about it. But to me, when I think of football, that's what I want to be eating is wings. I love them. I really
sausage
do.
And cheese tray.
Oh yeah, you gotta have staples. That's always sausage and cheese. We did that all the time.
Sausage, cheese, or good, charcuterie plate. That's how I roll. I like wing. I like finger food.
Yeah.
I don't want a meal because it's a marathon.
That's right. And
I'm watching all the games.
Oh, one that I
like to snack.
Yeah.
Well, of course I guess you call them ABTs or the cream cheese stuffed jalapenos wrapped in bacon. Those are awesome. Mm-hmm. But the meatballs that you do, Shell does, and it's so simple. We always got all the cattleman sauce at Memphis and May. So they have one. I remember what it used to be called.
Yeah.
Now it's called Tangy Carolina Gold. Or what was it called back in the day? It was called
Honey Gold.
Honey Gold, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah,
well, now it's called like Tangy Carolina Gold. Same stuff. Yeah. But she does frozen meatballs.
You always get like 80% of that.
Yeah. Oh, man, they're awesome. Yeah. That's a Memphis hot wing. Mm-hmm. That's what those guys was hot. They're doing the hot honey gold. It's buffalo wing sauce, equal parts. It's Frank's or a Cattleman's honey gold. And that's where they got hot honey gold. Nobody knew. Where's this honey gold, man? They're mixing it. No, man, they're buying that from Lit. And they're getting the hot sauce and they're mixing it with a stick of butter. And it's a bomb wing sauce.
Yeah.
I've never.
It's easy.
I've got to do that. I got to do the hot honey gold.
Okay.
I had never done that.
Great football recipe.
Yeah. Hot honey gold.
That's Memphis on this.
I'm gonna throw my own.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm gonna come up with my own mustard sauce though. Not use. Well, I guess should I use Frank's or should I? I could use Frank's. I don't care. It's good stuff.
Why don't you use yours?
I could.
I got one I've been working on. Yeah.
For mustard base.
Yeah, I got a good one.
To look up Weber's.
They have a good one?
Weber's mustard on Amazon. They're out of Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
They have.
Oh, it's not Weber Grills. This is
It's Weber's. It's a local mustard brand out of Buffalo, New York. A friend of Nicole's that works with her is from Buffalo and brought some back. She knew we were into food. And it's like a local. It's like Poncho's cheese dip.
Yeah.
To us.
Oh yeah.
But it's their mustard, and they have different flavors. But they're.
What do they use it on? Barbecue or?
It's just they have all kinds. They have your standard mustard, but what we love, they have a horseradish mustard.
Pull that up.
And it's got a zing to it, and then they also have a good Texas style mustard that's like good on hot dogs because it's got chunks of onions and stuff in it. But check out that horseradish mustard that they have, and play around with that as a base for mustard sauce.
When you said that, when you said hot dogs, I was thinking another football food, brats. We used to do them all. That was a standard chill. Yeah. I don't know if you can beat a good brat. I mean, wings and brats in football, man, that's.
Justin does love Johnsonville.
You used to say that.
I would sing it.
You would say.
Richie Riddle and I went to a spring training game in Arizona. I think it was in Surprise. I believe it was a Royals game. I think he's a Royals fan. Either that. We went to a Royals game, went to a Giants game, and we pulled up to one of them while I was in training class, and he followed along and pulled up, and the Johnsonville brought
the big super grill, the biggest grill in the world. That's what they call it.
And that's kind of where that started. Like we walked in the gate, and I saw it, and I was like, Justin loves Johnsonville brat.
Did you know you did?
And I swear to God, I skipped all the way there and tore it up.
If we'd have had video of that, dude, I would have loved it. Did you have to buy brats, or were they giving them out to the public?
I have no recollection.
I can see that. I can so see it though.
Oh, yeah,
I can see you embarrassing the crap out of Richie.
He embarrassed the crap out of himself. I called him ironing socks one morning.
Is it the Heinz and Weber company?
That's it. Yep. That is some good stuff. So good.
Horseradish mustard.
Amazon is your friend.
Yes.
It'll bring all these delicious products to your door.
They have several different flavors. The only other one I've had is like the Texas Hot, and it's good on brats and hot dogs. But I think that would be a good base to play around with for some mustard sauce. It's got, it doesn't just have that normal yellow mustard, like slight vinegar zing.
Yeah.
It's got the horseradish, so it's got another level to it, and I love it on any kind of a sandwich with white meat, turkey, chicken, something like that. It's good stuff.
Get the horseradish one.
I will. I'll order it later.
I want that.
Stop what you're doing.
Get two. That reminds me, I'm going to do some brats tomorrow for the football games. I got to.
Yeah, so we got football games.
Yeah. Who's Michigan play this week? You're a Michigan fan. I know it's crazy.
Middle Tennessee? Is it Middle Tennessee?
TSU.
Oh, man, that's
too bad it's not a home and home.
Is Michigan in the top 10? Why are they not? They got to be, right?
Yeah. They had a heck of a year
last
year.
Number 7, I believe.
Yeah. They got
number 7. Them and Ohio State are picked to win the conference. So, they play Middle Tennessee State at 6:30, I believe, which is tough for me being a Big Ten fan. I'm used to those 11 a.m. maybe 3 kickoffs, so I'm going to have to try to
pace yourself. Pace yourself on opening day, man.
And then, we got Memphis Ole Miss at 11.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to pace myself. Hitting that one hard.
With Bloody Marys and mimosas early, and then just rock on through, man. You can make it. I got faith in you.
Oh, yeah. I'm a trained professional.
You're pulling for Memphis. Are you expecting Memphis to win?
Yes.
You're pulling for Ole Miss, but
I don't have high expectations.
I could see Ole Miss winning 2 games this year.
I would take that.
Memphis, I could see them maybe only losing 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
They got Central Florida's number this year? That's been their nemesis.
That's probably the one that they will not win. They got a tough one at Houston as well, but Memphis, the
line was 6. I don't know if it's moved anymore.
Yeah. What, on the Ole Miss Memphis game?
Yeah, we need to
check that out. They've got a good team. They lost some studs. They lost Pollard and Henderson, and those guys were true game changers. Yeah. But
Pollard's playing for the Cowboys, isn't he?
Yep, and Henderson went to
really?
Rams they needed another stud running back.
Right.
But, coach, he's an offensive genius, and they've got they're supposed to have some good young talent.
The Rebels are starting a freshman quarterback, so it's going to make the over under is like 66 or so. It's crazy high.
Freshman or
He might be a redshirt. This is his first college game to start. So, yeah, and the over-under, they're thinking it's going to be a shootout. I don't think
there's not going to be a lot of – there's never a lot of defense in the Memphis game.
Yeah. Which is strange because I remember back in the day, Memphis had a defense. That was what – I mean –
So did the Saints. And
that's
when the teams were bad. But, they flipped it a little bit.
Did y'all watch the Clemson-Georgia game last night? Georgia Tech game?
No.
It was a blowout when we checked it out.
Yeah, I was flipping through some of the
I watched UCLA, Cincinnati.
I watched a little bit of the
Vikings Bills. Was it on? You couldn't find it anywhere?
No.
Heard the Bills won.
They did.
That don't matter.
Oh, yeah. It's
the last one. It's next week that matters.
Yeah, we watched
Justin's the only other Vikings fan that I know of in the Mid-South area.
Besides me and Waylon?
Yeah.
That's another thing we had in common. I think that's why we clicked. We're Vikings fans.
And it was
you wouldn't think it's obscure us being here.
Right. And it wasn't like, okay.
Most people are Saints fans, Titans fans, Cowboys fans.
Yeah. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to like the Vikings because of Malcom. We were just chatting one day. I think the Vikings are on TV for the one time this season in Memphis.
I think.
And then we just started chatting.
I think it went something like, it was like you said something like, you know what Chris Carter does? I said, yeah, he catches touchdowns, and that was it. I mean, that's the thing. What's Chris Carter do? He catches touchdowns, and Vikings fans know that.
Yeah. So, is that who was on the show with Eli?
Peyton. Yeah, have you seen that Peyton's places he's doing on the? I think it's like on ESPN Plus, but he's doing the 100 years of the NFL. He did a thing. This was back in the early days of the NFL. They were first starting. I think we were in Chicago. Was it Chicago or New York? Anyway, these old guys were doing a publicity stunt. One of them went up on top of this building. I forget how many floors up. Threw a ball down to this park, super far, and the dude caught it. And it was a big publicity stunt. So Peyton and Chris Carter recreated that. And you need to go watch it on ESPN Plus.
The Dude Perfect thing to
yes.
To make this for the younger audience.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
We don't have a younger audience.
I might not be wrong. It might not be Dude Perfect. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah. But you need go check it out. You might could find it on just YouTube or something. But it's amazing. You wouldn't believe how far the ball travels so far. It finally just starts tumbling, and it's coming like a rocket straight down. And Chris Carter's down there trying to. It takes him a dozen tries. But he finally gets it. He makes a couple of catches on it. But I was just waiting on Peyton Manning to fall off this building. There's nothing like holding him. He didn't have long. Yeah.
When you're talking about a Manning throwing ducks, I'm talking about Eli for a minute. I'm sorry.
No, you need to check it out.
No, the show is really good.
And they're only like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Peyton's Places or something like that.
Yeah, check that out.
A lot of history of that. That's I've only watched 4 or 5 episodes. You can watch them all, but.
Back to the Vikings a little bit. So, Dylan turned Dylan into a Randy Moss aficionado, showing him the old YouTube videos and whatnot. And a couple of weeks ago, he found a video where Randy Moss and Brown Urlacher went fishing after Moss retired. I think Urlacher was still playing at the time, but Moss is a huge fisherman,
right?
And I guess Urlacher is, but Moss caught a fish and he ripped it up out of the water and said, "Straight bass, homie." So now Dylan says
that's a tagline.
I'm like,
straight bass.
I'm so proud of you, son.
Michael's got all the kids in 4th grade playing a game called Moss. It's where is that a game you made up?
No.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of a version of we used to call it smear. Smear can't politically correct say that anymore. So that's their version now. I call it Moss.
You should call it Ed McCaffrey.
Because he get laid out. Smashed. That would have been better.
Yeah, apparently it didn't affect him too much because he made Christian McCaffrey.
That is his son.
Dylan McCaffrey, quarterback at Michigan.
Yeah,
so
okay.
He's a sophomore now, I believe, and he's supposed to be a stud quarterback. So
where did Christian play? Where did he play college?
Stanford.
Oh wow!
Is he starting at Michigan or?
No.
But he's on.
They've got
Shea Patterson from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So he's
still there.
Shea's a senior.
He's
5th-year senior, so he's supposed to be the guy next year. But even though Ed got his back cracked playing for the Broncos 800 times, I guess didn't affect.
Haven't sent him over the middle.
Child rearing.
He was over the middle slot guy.
He would do that slot and
break him down. I've had him on my fantasy team several times. Broke leg after the season.
Hits that would get you expelled from the NFL these days.
Oh, yeah.
Backbreakers.
Any other games you're watching this weekend?
That's the highlight of mine. I really hadn't looked too much further than that.
That's a bad thing about you're so excited about football the first weekend, but there's no good games usually.
Memphis Ole Miss is, even if both teams aren't good, it's at least local rivalry. Yeah. So that's.
Who's the late game? It's Oregon and
isn't it Bama and Bama
SEC team? Is it Auburn? And Oregon?
Auburn and Oregon.
Yeah, that'll be a decent game.
Okay. Auburn sucks every other year.
Yeah,
so,
they're very unpredictable.
Who does State have? Are they playing?
I don't even
Southern
know.
Miss. Is it Southern Miss?
I don't even know.
I think at 11 Saturday. I hadn't looked that far. I think it is though. Interstate. That'd be a game to watch. I mean, State ought to kill them, but
Ohio State's playing Florida International, I believe.
Yeah,
Florida
I looked. It showed last night. It showed the top 10 teams and who their opponents was, and none of them had. They were all cupcakes.
It's always garbage except for
Florida, Miami. They had Florida. I think Florida's overranked after watching them play.
Yeah, I thought Miami had that game was leaving your house, and Miami was up and drove 15 minutes home, and Nicole had it on, and I'm like,
and I think Florida was 7. They dropped them to 8, or I don't know. I don't remember going. It seemed like they were 7 last week.
I was cheering for.
That's a little overrated.
It's like the Cowboy kickoff, when they have those games, which I guess this year that one's going to be the Oregon-Auburn. They'll have the 2 out-of-conference.
Yeah, play in a neutral field somewhere.
Teams play. And that's, week 1, that's it. And then
run it down for us, Shell. Who's everybody playing,
Mississippi. I just pulled up Mississippi State. They're playing the Raging Cajuns.
Oh, yeah, that's a cupcake, too.
Yeah.
Who
they're playing Southern
them?
Miss next week.
I think Phil Roberts and Terry Bradshaw play for the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah, same time. Football fact.
Y'all are just full of them.
Full of them.
When does the NFL kick off?
Next week, Thursday night. Got to get those lineups set.
Yep, looking forward to that.
Who are you most excited about that you drafted that's going to produce?
Patrick Mahomes. I got
that's a good pick. Dude. I had him. I was going to try to get him. You took him. Was he the first quarterback selected? I guess he was, wasn't he? Third round?
I think I took him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I was trying to get him in the 4th, coming back to me.
Did my typical strategy. I've always been
wide receiver,
especially like back in the day before, all the new defensive rules where you can't even look at a receiver without having a flag.
Yeah.
I just
always
went wide outs early instead of the running backs. But now with today's NFL, if you can't get a running back that's running back with a bad quarterback that's just going to get the ball all the time, or one that that can catch the ball out of the backfield and plays multiple positions, I prefer
taking that chance on them points, especially in ours PPR league.
Yeah,
where we get points for catch. So that makes what is a half a point though? But still, no, it's a full. Is it a full point or half a point? I think it's a half.
3 leagues, I can't remember which.
but anyway, you still get points for it, so it makes those wide receivers more valuable.
Right, yeah, especially if you get a high volume guy. You get a Golden Tate who doesn't get a lot of touchdowns necessarily, but they're going to throw it to him 10 times, so he's going to get yardage and receptions, but may not always get the touchdowns because you try to go with the home run threat guys.
Yeah.
But I went. I think I went wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver, and then hit up some.
Who's your running backs?
Let's see.
Did you keep a running? Yeah, you kept James White, didn't you?
Yeah, I kept James White. So I drafted him in the 11th round or 12th round. 13th round last year. So I got to keep him in the 12th, and I think he's like top 10 or 11 running back. In the
That's good value there.
And he was one of those that catches a lot of balls. And
he's going to have to. Nobody Brady.
Guess what?
I'm hoping Sonny Michelle does, because I got him.
He's going to get. He runs the ball a little more often. He's going to get catches. But guess what? Brady's pass fire's gone. Gronk is retired.
Oh yeah.
So
and Edelman stays banged up. He got hurt coming back the other day. Hurt his hand.
That was my theory. Michelle and White are going to get even more catches because the next best thing from a tight end for safety valve for quarterback is that running back coming out of the backfield. Same thing. So that was kind of my strategy with that. But
did you draft Vikings? I got 3 of them.
No, you got them all.
I didn't get all of them.
It felt like it.
I mean, I took Randolph as a backup. I mean, everybody's down on him. You know, he was top 5 tight end going into last year.
Yeah, Kyle Rudolph?
Yeah, Kyle Rudolph. And everybody's off of him this year. I guess he's just sticking it up. But Thielen's the guy. I didn't get him. I got Diggs.
Yeah.
I took
Kyle Rudolph is like steady. Like you are going to get the same output from him every time. He's a stud. He's big. He can block.
Yeah.
So we don't get points for that. But I think part of the issue there is like, what's up with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. I think so too.
More the
well, I took a gamble on that rookie running back. I'm hoping. No. The Vikings rookie running back, Matheson, something like that. Matheson, I think it is.
Because Latavius is gone, so somebody's got to get it.
So that was the reason why I had 3 Vikings. But
yeah, I did not get a single one in our league because, like I said, you snatched them all.
Cousins still out there. Did you get the kicker or the defense?
All right, so
I didn't get that. It's crazy strategy. I'm living or die by the purple.
They're kicker. They've had kicking problems for
a while.
Notorious.
So I got a funny story. I'm starting to stop you, but we got invited to this deal with CAB here coming up, and one of the guest speakers is Morton Anderson. He's going to be there. And so I was like, Shell, let's see if he's on Twitter. I'm going to send him a message and see if Gary's going to be his +1. I don't care about Morton. I don't want to meet Gary.
Yeah. Let's say,
he's a Hall of Famer.
So you didn't miss a field goal for 2 straight years. The 1998 NFC Championship game against the Falcons. You decided to shank the first one in 2 years to make it to the Super Bowl. Moss's rookie.
Break my heart.
Yeah,
that's hard.
I remember me and Big Easy were at Hooters on Mount Moriah watching that game, and I lost my damn mind. And I'm like,
it was a lock.
I'm like, money.
And then we had the Dirty Bird, didn't we? Had to put up with all that.
And then the Dirty Bird.
It should have been. That was a Viking, man. We've had some tough losses, man. NFC Championship.
Do you think they might be cursed?
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
the Cubs?
I don't know why.
It's
like Frank Tarkenton did something back in the day or something. Frank Tarkenton.
Yeah, they since the 70s, man, the Raiders just destroyed them.
No, ever since they traded the team away to get Herschel. That was when I started watching when I was a kid. Herschel Walker, they set the Cowboys up for their dynasty. Mm-hmm. We had Herschel Walker.
Yeah, it's like the curse of the Bambino.
Yeah.
My favorite player.
Herschel.
Yeah, Herschel's a good guy, though. You're watching his stuff now. He's big. I mean, he's
not mentally stable.
Really?
He's a hell of an athlete.
Why don't you think he's mentally stable? He's a nut? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's got bipolar disorder.
No. Well,
he came out and admitted it, and that's why he said he had problems and he left football a little early.
And went to bobsledding? Is that why he went to bobsledding?
He was having issues internally, which is not funny at all. But
it's not surprising.
The past 5 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And now we're like, is that like a CTD thing? Maybe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Head trauma, man. That ain't
They're linking that to a lot of stuff, which makes me very, very nervous.
I think, but the crazy thing is, if it is, I think, didn't he try like MMA for a minute too?
I don't know about that, did he?
I'm pretty sure, like in the past handful of years, like.
Oh, really?
He's done some crazy workouts and stuff. Yeah,
he's like might look better than he did when he was playing football. And he's still just ripped.
But he's got to be in his 50s, right?
No, he's not that old. I don't think. He's probably close to 50, I bet.
How old are you? You think about how old?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. I still think of him, man. Yeah.
He still thinks he's 22.
You might be right. Dang, man. Yeah, I bet Herschel Walker is 50.
He's 57.
Wow. He's not in MMA, dude.
Google that, Herschel Walker. Somebody.
Yeah, he can't be.
Herschel Walker wins MMA fight debut.
Look at him, man. What year was that, too?
2010.
Oh, that's been a while, but still. That's been 10 years.
Yeah,
he's 27.
Yeah,
still older than me there.
I'm 40. And,
I ain't doing MMA.
Yeah. Wow, look at him.
I ain't MMA in my 10-year-old.
Yeah.
That was him at 47.
He's a beast.
Yes.
But anyway, he wasn't my favorite Viking. My favorite was probably John Randall.
Oh, yeah.
I've got
old Sporting News with him with all his war paint on.
Yeah.
And everybody back then said, like they would do interviews in Sporting News. They're like, so who's the craziest NFL player? Like John Randall. They're like, he would just talk crazy at the line. But they're like, he wouldn't like insult you and, curse you out and say he's going to kill you. He would just say, just like ramble, just like madness, and just like intimidate him. And
like,
I'm gonna break your neck and get you. It's just like he's like, hey, you know, I hope you know that I know you drive a Ford Focus.
Crazy stuff,
and it's purple. And I don't like that. Just like something totally random like that. What's wrong with this guy? Like,
this guy's a maniac.
He had the war paint on.
Did they make him stop wearing the war paint?
That is why they can't do it anymore.
Yeah, because he would paint his face up like he was going. I mean,
he looked like the ultimate warrior.
Yeah,
but with eye black but would just talk madness and just destroy people.
That's what football's all about.
Yeah. And Chris Carter's what got me into it. I was watching him in the playoffs and.
Did you remember him when he played? Was it the Eagles? He started with, and then he had like a drinking problem and turned his life around. And
candy problem.
Was that what it was? And then he ended up with the Vikings, and that's where he built his career.
Yeah, I first started following him because I loved Warren Moon. Like when I was young, I could see old pictures of me with the baby blue.
Played for the
Oilers hats, but Warren Moon got traded from the Oilers to the Vikings.
It was after, I think it was after Rich Gannon or somebody like that.
And then he got traded to the Seahawks, and I'm like,
can't go that step too far.
Can't go that far west, and like, there's only one Vikings game on in Memphis a year. Like, there are 0 Seahawks games on, like back in the early 90s.
Yeah, so you stayed with him.
I kind of just stayed with them and watched them casually, like back then when there was no NFL Sunday Ticket. And there was only,
you never saw their games.
There was only 40-something channels on TV.
We saw them a lot of times on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Because they would play the Cowboys or they'd play the Lions a lot.
Right, yep.
And so, but we watched.
Lions games.
My thing was, I don't remember what year it was. It had to be like 84, 85 maybe. They did, they used to do expedition games in Memphis, and it was my dad got tickets, and they took us. It was like the Chiefs and the Vikings, and we didn't know. I knew the Bears, I knew the Dolphins, I knew the Cowboys, of course. Yeah, I wasn't, I was young. I was under, I was probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. And I remember we got to go to that game, and we didn't know who to root for. We'd never been to a football game at that point. And so we just picked, me and Waylon just happened to say, we like that purple looking team. That looks cool.
They have horns.
And and they had horns, and they blew the horn.
Yeah.
They had the dude dressed like the Viking. And then I can't remember who the quarterback was. I want to say maybe it was Wade Wilson back. I don't know what year. I don't know who it was. This is a long time ago, man. It was a long time ago.
Dating himself.
Yeah. But it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. And that was, then ever since then, Waylon still got like the old purple starter jacket. He said I could still fit it. And so that was,
got to see that.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. And I've still got like a Carter jersey, Culpepper jersey. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've had a Randall jersey.
When we moved in together, he brought very few things with him. It was like a couple boxes, but one of them was a helmet with some like
horns in the hair. I had it. Then see, we used to go to St. Louis.
This is what you're bringing to the
table. And man, that's one of the best games I've ever seen live. Was Kurt Warner was quarterback for the Rams.
Never been a good judge of character.
And then Culpepper was a quarterback for the Vikings. And they had Moss and they had Carter. I think they had Robert Smith. We had an awesome team. And then so we got to go see that Arrow Mount show. I think Isaac Bruce may have been playing for the Rams still, and so we had a little kind of. And they had Marshall Faulk. So I was like, that was an awesome time.
Game. Speaking of the Thanksgiving game with the Vikings, one year they played the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. My parents are huge Cowboys fans. Before I was old enough to dress myself, there's lots of pictures of me in Cowboys.
I had the Danny White watch.
And,
for real.
And it was horrible, so... My mother has those stored away, and I hope they've been
never come out
at this point. But so at this point, it was early in Moss's career, and we're sitting at the Thanksgiving table at my grandmother's house and have the TV on the background, and they are just beating the dog crap out of the Cowboys, and I'm talking mad crap to my dad, and like Pete, he gets fired up over like Memphis Tiger basketball.
Yeah,
he likes the Cowboys, and they watch them every time they're on TV, but he's like, get off of this table. And they made me go sit in the living room by myself because it's like I was ruining his lunch just like, they were.
Ruined Thanksgiving, Justin.
Yeah, I did.
Pulling for this team from Minnesota.
Yeah, like,
you don't even know anybody from Minnesota.
It's like, you end up with the
Cowboys America's team.
Okay, how did you end up a Cowboys fan?
I was on TV.
Who was the quarterback back then?
Staubach?
Yeah.
Was it?
Roger Staubach. Good for you. Green Moss.
Yeah, that's right.
Stand on the sideline with an afro
Check it out, dog.
And mooning folks in Green Bay. I'm like, I love it. And so I was banished from the Thanksgiving table for talking trash to my dad as Moss crushed the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. So
bombs too.
That was one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
That's one you keep near and dear to your heart.
That's true.
All right. We
allotted our time with Justin.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to do this.
Yeah. So this will be a to be continued discussion. We got a long football season.
Absolutely.
Maybe you'll be our football sports correspondent. You can pop in and we'll talk sports and war stories.
Hey, yeah. Hey, maybe we can do some live cut-ins.
Yeah, there you go.
That way you guys can get a live look in on how we watch football. Just leave that pint of Jim Beam.
No, or at least the keys. I can bring the pint, just leave my keys.
You don't drink Jim Beam anymore.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You drink the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I haven't seen him drink Jim Beam out of a bottle in a long, long time.
Out of a bottle.
He used to have the little...
He'd have a pint, a swig, and then a Sprite, and a swig.
Chaser.
And then he'd pull out the guitar. And...
Yeah. Oh, man, good times, man.
Hey, let's do it.
Well, hey, man, we appreciate you coming and sitting in with us. It was fun.
Yeah.
Reminiscing. We'll do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Rachelle, what do we got coming up? We're
I don't know.
Who's threw you for a loop, huh? You just
strolled
through memory lane. Strolled through memory lane long enough. Well, I know. Hey, we'll be doing something.
Yeah, this weekend's Labor Day weekend. We don't have anything.
Yeah, we're not doing a video next week because
Yeah.
we're going to the Braves game. We're flying.
Yeah.
We're going to Atlanta next Thursday. If Dorian, or is it Darian or Dorian? Or,
The hurricane.
yeah, if it doesn't
derail our plans.
Who are they playing?
Nationals.
Okay, cool.
We're taking Michael for his birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, great. It's first baseball game or pro game?
Yeah, first program. He's been to some Redbirds games, but I hadn't been to the new Braves Stadium, so I'm kind of excited about it. I mean,
we had a friend that got us some really nice tickets. So.
Yeah, watch the game Thursday night. Look behind home plate. I'll be back there.
Hey, where that Vikings?
Yeah, I do. Oh man, I need to do that.
Give you my
you would see me. I'd be the only one
shocker
there.
foam hand. Give that to you. Remember that?
Yes, the shocker.
I remember that. I got stolen at a game. It badly.
So, Minnie's saying it's time to go, so we got to shut her down.
If you'd like to connect with Malcom, it's HowToBBQRight at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, we appreciate y'all checking us out today, and we'll see y'all next time. You can tell we had fun.